Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're actually going to just do some thrift flips. I'm going to start with this old picnic basket, and it's a little bit rough, but I like the old look of it, so I want to leave some of that. And there's a couple or a few paint splatters on the top, so I'll be sanding that off. But the basket part I want to paint in the color buttercream. And I'm not even going to give it full coverage. I'm just going to very lightly paint one coat on it. And when you paint one coat like this, you need to make sure that your strokes are in the same direction. But I liked the look of the basket showing through the paint. So like I said, I just kept it one coat and purposely didn't get full coverage. And like I said, I like the way that looked, and my plan to begin with was to go ahead and paint it with full coverage until I started seeing how it looked with some of that basket showing through. So much so that once I got it painted and let it dry well, I took my sanding block and did some extra distressing. And then all I did on the top was stencil this farmhouse stencil, actually just the word farmhouse on the top. And then once that was dry, then I just took some clear wax and went over the entire piece with it, including the lid. And although I didn't paint the lid or the handle, just adding that clear wax really refreshed it. And it still had the old look. But it was just a cleaner look. And then I really liked how it turned out. And then the next item that I'm going to make over, I actually painted several of my rolling pins today and just kind of freshened them up and went over some of them with some oil and painted the handles. This one was just one that was a newer one that I thrifted, and I just decided, since it's not anything special, that I would just put a transfer on this one and just let it be for decor only. And then when I tag this one, I'll have to say that it isn't food safe. And I'm using the sunflower transfer set here from Dixie Belle. And I'm just kind of placing it different places on the rolling pin, and I'm just adding two here and just kind of alternating where the flowers lays. And then I'm going to use my IOD typesetting set of stamps and using a lowercase letters only, and stamping the word bake on each side, because where I have my flowers placed, it leaves two places that I'll have room to put the word bake. So like I said, I just stamp that on both sides of my rolling pin. And I forgot to mention that I put some polyacrylic on this before I did my my transfers, actually, and because I don't think it would have transferred on here if I hadn't done that first. But when you do that, you have to make sure that you let it dry really well. And then once I stamp this on here, then I'll give it another coat of my polyacrylic, and I'll just use the Minwax matte finish polyacrylic. But before I put the polyacrylic on it the last time, then I painted these handles black, and then once they dried, then I just went ahead and put my polyacrylic on the whole thing. I don't know what your all's weather has been like, but here in Tennessee we have had really frigid temperatures, and we were out today in it actually, and the air is just so cold that it hurts your skin. So I'm praying for the homeless that they found shelter in this, and those who are having trouble keeping heat in their homes, because I am feeling very blessed that I'm in a warm home tonight. So like I said, once I get this painted, then I give it another coat of the polyacrylic, and then this one is finished. And then like I said, this will just be for decorative purposes only. If you're like me, you have one good one that you use, and the rest are for just decorative purposes. So I think that this will sell even though you can't cook with it. And then this next flip is a very, very quick flip. It was black already, it's a little crock. But when I thrifted it, it had some white specks on it, and I think they were paint splatters. So I just used some alcohol and just kind of got it really good and wet with the alcohol and just scrubbed it off, and it came completely clean. And now I'm just using some white Stays On ink and stamping one of my crockery stamps on it. And then that's all that I'm going to do to this. And again, this will be decorative, although the inside of this is perfectly fine to use. I think you would probably use this for utensils. And then the next item that I'm going to do is this wooden rooster that I thrifted. And it came black like this. It had some nicks and scrapes on it, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to use this black as my distress color because I'm going to paint color buttercream on this, and then I'm going to heavily distress it. So I just give this 2 coats of the color buttercream and let it dry well, and then I just take some sandpaper and just really, really give this a good distressing because I wanted a lot of this black to show through. And then once I sanded it and I was happy with the amount of the black that I had showing through, then I gave this a coat of clear wax and just kind of really worked it in good and wiped it off. And then I think that really changed this up, and you may or may not like all the heavy distressing that I did here, but I think for this piece it really worked. The next piece may be a different story. I had a look in my head, and I'm not so sure that I liked how it came out. But I just thought that I would leave it that way for a little while and see if it grows on me, or if someone else decides they like it and buys it. If not, then I'll go back and redo it actually. But right now I just left it. So I had this little drawer, and it's already been painted with, it looks like maybe 1 coat of some color of white. So I went over this a couple of times with the color buttercream. Now, what I wasn't sure that I was happy with is I decided to leave the bottom of the inside and not give this another coat, because I'm going to use a tissue wrap that is somewhat translucent, and I actually just sanded some more on the inside of the bottom to make a lot of the wood show through, because I wanted that really rustic look on the inside. So what I'm not sure about is if it actually worked. And the reason I think it may not have worked is because when I sanded, I couldn't get down in the corners as well as I had hoped for, and so it was kind of an uneven look, which I was okay with an uneven look, but I think that once I got the decoupage done on the inside, that it was a little too uneven, and it may be a little too rough. Sometimes I think because I like Rustic so much that I go a little overboard on it, so this may be one that I have to redo later. So once I decoupage this on the inside, then, and I didn't put my decoupage over the top of this, and the reason is because I'm going to be taking some polyacrylic spray and just spraying this inside and out, and the inside's going to get at least a couple of coats at some point. Once I decide I'm going to leave it like this. For today, I just put one coat on it, and that way if I need to remove it, it'll be easy to remove. But if I decide to keep it like this, I want to put an extra coat because most likely it will be used in the kitchen and it'll need some extra protection. So I'm doing a little extra sanding on the outside, and then I'll do the clear coat on the whole thing. But then I'm going to add some little feet to this. So if you've watched me long, you've seen that I've been working on a big stash of feet that I thrifted, and they're going to work well for this as well. And I'm going to just apply these with my Tite Bond and let them dry overnight, and then this will be finished. That is, unless I redo the inside. So it's actually that time of year that I'm pretty much done with my crafting for Christmas, and I'm going to get back on some more of these thrift flips. As you can see there, that is really showing through on the inside. But like I said, I'm going to get back to some thrift flips before I start into some Valentine decor. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.